Alrighty guys, so something actually one that was pretty interesting over in the OCG, and I wanted to showcase off this deck, which is Artifact Wind Witch Summoners. And you guys might be thinking, what the heck, why is there certain cards like Harpy's Feather Dust or Dark Hole, like why not Regeki? Alright, keep in mind guys, this is OCG, but we could see some of these cards come back in the TCG. It's not like we're really worried about Dark Hole. You can replace that with Regeki real easy. But some of these other cards, like Super Poly, they are pretty important for certain matchups that you just won't have access to. But who knows? They might come back on a ban list, and there you guys go. But I wanted to talk about this deck because I think it's interesting. I don't know the original name of the creator, so shout out to him because I did not make this deck. This deck got 3rd place in a tournament over in OCG. And if you guys don't know what is winning in OCG, it is literally Zoodiacs in everything, and a lot of people don't really like that, and I could totally understand because you guys don't like tier 0 formats or tier 1 formats where it's just like one deck. And pretty much if you guys look at the top deck list, it's all Zoodiac, and you guys might be saying, wait, hold on, he got Zoodiacs. Alright, guys, it's for Ghost Reaper, alright? But anyways, let's go ahead and go over the deck profile and I'll talk a little bit about it. But at its core, the whole idea is to Crystal Wing and then back up your plays and kind of make your deck oriented around stunning, but also being able to get out powerful monsters and also kind of stunning your opponent with certain things. Artifact Sanctum is still a great card. If you guys didn't know, what's interesting is Moral Attack is actually at 2 in the OCG, but the guy opted to only go for 1. I think that's a little crazy, but he was orienting his entire build around Scythe, so this will shut down extra decks. But anyways, let's go ahead and jump into it. So first off, 3 copies of Scythe. This card, when special summon during your opponent's turn, your opponent cannot special summon monsters from the extra for the rest of the turn. That's a really huge effect. And then Moral Attack over here lets you kind of pop a card. It can kind of disrupt plays. I guess this totally works if you are a TCG player because you can only run 1 Moral Attack here in the TCG. So that works for you guys. And then of course the 2 copies of Glass Spell over here. So the Wind Witches are pretty much just to try to get out Crystal Wing. But there are also alternatives to being able to use them maybe when they're completely dead, because you can still draw some cards with them and go from there. But pretty much once this card is normal special, you get to add a Wind Witch monster from your deck to your hand, except for itself. And then you can only special summon wind monsters. And next up we have 3 copies of Alistair the Eidolon Summoner. So his effect is you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard, target a fusion monster you control, it gains 1000 attack and defense until the end of the turn. If this card is normal summon or flip summon or flip face up, you can add an Eidolon summoning magic from your deck to your hand. And then we got 3 copies of Ice Bell. So if you go control no monsters, bam, just throw it out on board. It helps you make Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon just super consistent and super fast without going super minus. And then we have Ghost Ogre, kind of a stunish card. Now, we do have 3 Max C in the OCG, but that's, easily you can replace this if you want to run it TCG, just throw in 2. And then he opted to play 1 Snowbell. So Snowbell has the effect where if you only control 2 or more wind monsters, you can just special summon this card. And then from there, you have the ability to make a Crystal Wing that is immune to destruction effects via card effects. When you combine that with the Scythe, which means you can't get things from the extra deck, and then you have this where it can't be destroyed by opponent's card effects, a lot of decks will kind of fold and they can't throw out like a big board. Unless, of course, Pendulums, that's a different case. But nonetheless, it's still a pretty good card. And it just lets you, again, make a really boss Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. And then we have Harpy's Feather Dust, so pretty self-explanatory, clear the board, back row. We got Dark Hole. Obviously in TCG, I would say 99% of the time Regeki is just going to be better. 3 cards of Terraform because the field spell is pretty important. And then we got 2 copies of Eidolon Summoning Magic, so this is what you're going to be using to get out your boss monsters. Pretty much the idea is to get out Crystal Wing as consistent as possible, then stun your opponent with other cards, like Merkaba could be an excellent card, and then Raideen is also really important for the deck. That's why we've got 3 copies of Raideen over here. But anyways, yeah, you target a face-up monster on the field, change it to face-down defense position, so it can stun your opponent. That's the whole goal of the deck in the first place. Stun your opponent so they cannot make stuff. But next up, we got the Monster Reborn MST, kind of going old school here. What's interesting with his spell lineup, he decided to go with 1 MST and then 1 Cosmic Cyclone. I don't know. I feel like you guys can do whatever you want with this, and I don't feel like you have to play this. I still like Twin Twisters. I think that's a good card. I'm not really a fan of MST as much anymore. There's also the other card where you get to banish it, and then you get to Galaxy Cyclone, another card that you guys could try out yourself. Double Chalice. I've always said this card was good. I think this card is just boss in every format, especially when the game is like going to new formats. I think Chalice is just a great card. Stun things, and again, the whole deck is basically an anti-meta-ish stun deck. Is kind of what I want to call it. Next up, Super Poly. Oh man, this card is amazing. You can make like so many different things with this. But for the most part, in the OCG they don't have Norden. So if this comes back to the TCG and we still have Norden, this card is like so good. It's like broken. But nonetheless, Super Poly, very good card indeed. Next up, Triple Wonder Wand. So you have some of the dead cards. You can have access to just drawing extra cards. If you go ahead and just special summon this, you don't really need, or maybe you don't have access to go for certain things. So you can go for this, draw out your artifact sanctums, and you'll be good to go. But yeah, Wonder Wand just lets you draw extra cards. It's basically a neutral, but it could use your summon up technically. But when you have other cards where it's like you control no one else, just special summon it. Not too bad of an option. Next up, Reckless Magic Circle. So this card is activated, add an Alistair the Eidolon Summoner from your deck to your hand, and then if you activate a card or effect that includes the effect of a fusion summon monster, its activation can't be negated. Also, your opponent can't activate cards or effects, and basically, it can't be targeted. No, it doesn't have that effect. Pretty much it should, right? Because Yu-Gi-Oh! 2070, everything needs a Cleaforth Towers. But anyways, you can only use one of them per turn, but pretty decent little card. Then we got triple copies of Sanctum because you got to shut down your opponent, and then we have 2 copies of Dimension Barrier. Dang, I can't even talk today. Dimension Barrier, very good for, again, stunning certain decks. And then Compulse. I feel like Compulse is kind of outdated. I would rather play a Solemn, but that's just my take on it. You guys can let me know if you would rather have a Solemn or something like that. I'm not a fan of Compulse here in 2017. I would rather just run Warning. As far as the extract goes, we see a Elysion, we got Metalfold Cardinal, we got Merkaba, we got Managolinicia, we got Sarvenom Fusion Dragon. Oh, keep in mind, guys, that most of the time, a lot of these cards are going to be used for Super Poly, so you can, I guess, mix and match some of the cards if you don't like them. We got Purgatorio, the Eidolon Beast, and then we got Raideen, one of like the more relevant cards in this deck because it's just requires a wind monster plus Alistair. So it's like pretty much the card you want to make. If you get both these on the field, you pretty much have like a really strong board. And then we got the Clearwing, we got Clearwing Fast, we got Wind Witch Winter Bell, and Chain Bara. Randomly, you could OTK with this card. As for the side deck, he went with triple Lancia, 1 Ghost Ogre, 2 Ghost Reapers, 2 DD Crows. Then we got Durancia and Bullhorn, of course, for the Reaper targets. Then we got Mind Control, double Bookimoon, a 3rd Chalice, and side decking Imperial Order? That's crazy, man. If you guys know, they have Imperial Order in the OCG. But anyways, yeah, that's it. Have some fun with the deck, and shout out to the guy that won. I'm sorry, I don't know your name. It's probably Japanese or Korean anyways, because these were the deck lists taken from the OCG area. But you guys can see over here, if we swap to the TCG, you guys can see the ban list is a little bit different. There are a few cards we can swap out. You guys let me know down below what you'd swap it out with. I think you guys could easily just put in another, like, a card like a Factor could be an option if you want to like drop a maxi because you have to. This is really hard to replace. The only card that can really get rid of all the back row is pretty much going to be like Decree. So you guys can opt to play Decree if you want to. It's not nearly as good. It's a really hard replacement. Regeki is really easy replacement for this. This one can be a little bit easier because I feel like this is used to make those power plays. Instant Fusion, bam, there you go, Instant Fusion. You know, OCG don't have Norden, so that's why they don't have it in here. But yeah, the monster board is really hard to replace as well. For the most part. I mean, Call of the Haunted just is not the same card, but let me know, guys, what you'd put it. Well, we got Raigeki for sure. Raigeki. Right. If I could spell Raigeki. Right. Okay, for sure Raigeki. And then I mentioned, I don't think Decree is that good, because, again, it's slower. Maybe if you guys want to, you could do Twin Twisters, although everything in this deck is important. There's not really good throwaway cards, because if you have, like, you know, these that aren't going to be used, you have Wonder Wand for that in the first place. I guess if you happen to have Wonder Wand and you don't have any spellcasters to make good use of it, maybe. I just feel like Decree is just, it's too slow. Twin Twisters, I would say Twin Twisters could be an option if you maybe don't want to run the MST. I don't know, I feel like MST is just outclassed. This card, not a bad card at all. And then for the last 3 cards, I think Warning is excellent. We actually remove Compulse. I would suggest Warning. I think Warning is a great card. I think Vandy is a pretty good card too. There we go. All right, last card. You guys can let me know what you'd run for the final card. As far as the side deck goes, Book of Moon. There's not really anything that like flips things face down. Really easy. I don't know. Breakthrough Skill can stop effects, therefore it can stop players from doing aggressive plays, but I know it's just really not the same. But for the most part, there is a card called Book of Taiyu, and is this the one that flips around? No, Book of Eclipse. Eclipse, is that the one? Is it flips everything face down? Yes. Then in the end phase they get to draw them, but it's relevant because you're going to clear the board. Okay, that's about as close as you can get to Book of Moon. But final card, guys. Let me know what you put down below in the comment section below. And I think we've got a pretty good little deck for some of you guys that are interested in playing something a little bit different than Zoodiacs, because this guy topped without Zoodiacs. Congrats to him, man. I like innovative players. Really cool to see someone mix up like a bunch of different archetypes. I'd say there's like 3 archetypes in one. Pretty good stuff. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys, and I'm signing out.